Entrepreneur of the Year award to recognize, showcase and facilitate 5 outstanding social entrepreneurs. We are proud to celebrate and felicitate all our finalists as extraordinary individuals for their remarkable achievements and contributions towards society. It gives me immense pleasure to specially welcome our chief guest for the evening, Shri Anurag Singh Thakur. He is a 4-time elected member from Hamirpur, Himachal Pradesh. Within Parliament, he has served as the chairman of the Parliament Standing Committee on IT and member of the Public Accounts Committee. He has won the Best Parliamentarian Award in 2011 and was felicitated as Young Global Leader in 2014 by World Economic Forum. Mr. Anurag Thakur's constituency Hamirpur has benefited tremendously through his social economic development projects across sectors, ranging from railways, roads, and national highways, connectivity, opening bank account branches, schools and colleges, medical facilities, etc. He has focused on fulfilling local community needs and constructed community centers, solar lighting and playgrounds. Thank you, Minister, for being with us today. We are proud of our 13 years of unique, rewarding partnership with Schwab Foundation for Social Entrepreneurship. Through our partnership, we have been able to give the social entrepreneurs of India a global platform to showcase their work, scale up their initiatives, and learn from rich alliance of similar high-spirited individuals across the world. For the last 2.5 years of the COVID-19 pandemic highlighted the astounding role of social entrepreneurs worldwide. It showcased them as different breed of individuals going beyond realm of possible and impossible and serving humankind with all their might. Their creativity, resilience, commitment, potential, and reach was simply outstanding. Social entrepreneurs acted as the last mile responders for both the government as well as the corporate sector. On our part, Jubilant Bharatiya Group set up a Jubilant Bharatiya Foundation, a not-for-profit organization with a vision to bring progressive social change through strategic multi-stakeholder partnerships. The foundation focuses on 4 special domains: universalizing elementary education, improving health indices through innovative services, escalating employability, and enabling a conducive environment for social entrepreneurship. 3 years ago, we signed an agreement with Stanford University for the Hindustan Times Fellowship and Stanford Seed Foundation program in India. I am happy to inform that we have been giving HT Fellowship to social entrepreneurs recommended by Stanford for the last 2 years. This is the 13th year of our journey of Social Entrepreneur of the Year award. In these years, we have come in contact with over 1,700 social entrepreneurs. I am happy to note that this year we have received close to 100 applications, out of which 63 were women social entrepreneurs, and 3 of them have made it to the finals. I congratulate the finalists of this year and would like to thank the jury members for their steady support, help, guidance, and invaluable time. At the end, I would like to express my gratitude to Klaus and Hilde for being our partners in this one-of-a-kind journey. Over the years, this partnership has manifested itself as one that fills us with satisfaction, thankfulness, humility, and pride. We look forward to continuing partnership for several years to come. I now invite Hilde to give her an address. Thank you.
Thank you, Shyam. Your Excellency, Minister Shri Anurag Singh Thakur, dear friends, greetings on behalf of the Schwab Foundation for Social Entrepreneurship. Greetings also from my husband, Klaus Schwab, who is presently on a plane to New York, where the World Economic Forum holds its annual Sustainable Development Impact meetings during the UN General Assembly Week. No need to say that he regrets not to be with you tonight. The Schwab community and I are delighted to join you for the Social Entrepreneur of the Year celebration. Since 13 years in partnership with Jubilant Bhatia Foundation, and I want to express my sincere thanks to Shyam Bhatia, to Hari Bhatia, also to Ajay Khanna and his team for outstanding work in the selection process of more than 100 applications. I have great admiration also for the jury members, and I thank you for your time, your engagement and passion for social entrepreneurship. We know that India has always been rich with world-class models of social entrepreneurship, led by pioneers who drive community change and environmental sustainability in every sector. They continue to innovate, to serve all those around them, but also to create global impact. Our most recent impact report shows that since its inception more than 20 years ago, the Schwab Foundation's community of social innovators have reached and improved the lives of over 700 million people in 190 countries. And you, the social entrepreneurs of India, have also contributed to this amazing effort. Thank you. We saw the need to also award entrepreneurs with the public and private sectors, along with thought leaders, to move the field of social innovation forward together. Inspired by the collective work of many social entrepreneurs in India, we also will be introducing a new category, recognizing the power of collective social innovation. This will award cross-sector leaders and groups of organizations committed to addressing a bigger problem than what an individual organization can take on. Today, we are joined by 5 outstanding social entrepreneurs who are using their passion, determination, and creativity to address some of the most pressing issues we are faced with today. Of course, not everyone can win, but you all can use this platform to make your voice heard, to connect with your peers, and to promote your progenitor programs. I already now want to congratulate the finalists and the winner. And now I'm sure we all look forward to the video presentation by Shirin Ban.
Thank you very much, Hilde. It would have been lovely to have you here with us in person, but unfortunately it continues to be virtual, but great to have you with us virtually. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, Mr. Thakur, Mr. Bhartia, Shyam Bhartia, Hari Bhartia. Ladies and gentlemen, what a pleasure to be back here in person to celebrate the extraordinary stories of India's change agents. This is one of my passion projects. It's become a passion project for my team as well. And I look forward to this evening through the year because I walk away feeling a little bit better about the world, and all credit for that goes to the wonderful entrepreneurs who are present here in this room. They're quietly making change and making a real difference in the lives of people. CNBC-TV18 is very, very proud to continue our partnership with the Schwab Foundation and the Jubilant Bhatia Foundation to help amplify the stories that are bridging our ever-growing inequities. Almost 2 decades ago, when I first started covering the Social Entrepreneur Awards as a young journalist, I realized that the government and free market alone cannot address the complex challenges that we have. And philanthropy is not necessarily the antidote either. We need a blended solution that can be replicable and can be replicable at scale and be sustainable while doing so. The individuals who've been recognized at these awards over the last 13 years with the Bharatiya Foundation and prior to that as well have done exactly that. They are passionate about change and they're driven by purpose, not dogma. The last 2 years have been the most challenging period for the world that we live in our living memory. And to paraphrase a Jewish proverb, it was a time when we could not ask for a lighter burden, but for broader shoulders to bear the pain and loss of one's own and of our fellow citizens. The pandemic has only exacerbated the unequal growth that we see around the world. And the call to action is loud and clear. We need the broad shoulders of our change makers to help build back and to help build back better. The call to reimagine capitalism is seeing a fresh impetus. Just today, the 83-year-old founder of the iconic climate-conscious outdoor clothing brand Patagonia has decided to transfer 100% of the voting stock to a trust, and 100% of the non-voting stock has been given to a non-profit that is dedicated to fighting climate change. Now, each year, the money made will be reinvested in the business, and what is left will be distributed as dividend to fight the climate crisis. In the words of the founder of Patagonia, instead of going public, the company is going purpose. And I think that is the fitting start to this evening's program as we showcase 5 change makers who are driven by purpose. Together, these entrepreneurs are pioneering tech-driven social innovation models that have the potential to create impact at scale. They're turning rural women into entrepreneurs through e-commerce. They're helping the poor apply for government schemes using artificial intelligence, taking digital literacy to the most underdeveloped districts, enabling people with disabilities to find jobs, and tackling mountains of waste while giving waste pickers a life of dignity. Before we take a look at their journeys that we have captured here on video, join me in giving them a big round of applause for striving to create a better future for us all. Congratulations to you all. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we present to you the 5 finalists of the 13th Social Entrepreneur of the Year Award. We're going to start with Digital Empowerment Foundation. 500 million Indians still live in darkness with no access to digital connectivity, a tool that could give them access to their rights, be it pension, education, or healthcare at the click of a button. It is to fight this exclusion that Osama Manzar established the Digital Empowerment Foundation, which has taken digital literacy and tools to 130 unconnected districts across 24 states in India, so that no Indian lives at the edge of information. Here's the story of Digital Empowerment Foundation.
The problem of India was just not, going away from my head. Our poverty is not a physical poverty, it's a poverty of information. We have food, but we can't access. We have knowledge, but we can't access. We have opportunity, but we don't have access. We have education, but we don't have access. 2 decades back, when internet started taking over our lives, digital started taking over lives, I realized that this digital connectivity or digital infrastructure at the doorstep is an access. And that's very important because the cost of exercising your right is dependent on the access. And then I said that we need a Digital Empowerment Foundation, or we need digital empowerment. So what we do is that we actually look at India not in totality from the perspective of, there are 753 districts and then so many states and so on and so forth. We look at which are the districts which are backward. Like this place where we are sitting, it is a place about 60 kilometers away from Delhi. It is a place called New District, and Tai is a place. Here it is surrounded by the most backward villages of the country. So here, this center actually, or this physical digital center, is actually bringing the bank at your doorsteps, e-governance at your doorsteps, your pension at your doorsteps, delivery of services at your doorsteps. This hub center is more like there are 5-6 rooms. One is a STEM center and digital center, literacy center, one is a skilling center, one is a health center, one is a government services center. STEM center or the digital education center doesn't mean that they are giving degrees. No, they're giving resources, and also creating a situation where just because you are in a village, that doesn't mean that you feel that it will take ages for those resources to come to you. No, each physical center that we create is owned or run by a person locally. 60 to 70% of them are women, and about 50% of them are people with disability. Digital Empowerment Foundation has impacted 30 million people out of the 60 to 70% of the total population which are unconnected with digital linkages and connectivity and services across 24 states in 130 districts and across 2,000 locations in the country. In 2007, when the government was thinking how do we actually take information communication technology for development, and we were part of developing a system called Common Service Center, where we can have a village level entrepreneur take the computers and connectivity to the last mile and actually create services. And when that one started growing, we didn't sit idle. We devised this National Digital Literacy Mission, because we thought that if we create a mission to convert, that everybody will work, not only one organization, one ministry or one government or one NGO will work. So actually creating a mindset that our India wants Digital India. And that helped a lot to Digital Empowerment Foundation to take these models, various kind of models, to the grassroots level. I would say COVID is a very critical milestone on the digital journey of India, and also the digital journey of Digital Empowerment Foundation. No, of course, COVID was a devastation, it still is a devastation, there's no doubt about it. But what actually COVID brought is a huge challenge for Digital Empowerment Foundation to see that whether we are relevant as a digital organization to the physical problem of health. Everything was a misinformation. We were in the cesspool of misinformation and fake news while this pandemic was going on. Who is going to tell you what to do and not to do? You needed that one representative locally who is connected through the internet, but also have a capability to filter the right information for you. And this people who were working and running these digital centers, which we call community information resource centers, and the person who runs this is called Suchnapreneur, became suddenly the Suchnapreneur come COVID information warriors. UNICEF wanted to have a large scale impact in working in villages, and we partnered with them, and 885 of our Suchnapreneurs were selected to create a huge campaign of mobilization for vaccination and also fight misinformation and fake news in so many places, with a target of 65 lakh people to reach out. So it's very beautiful that we have been able to create digital cadres or digital entrepreneur cadre across village level or a panchayat level across the country, and we are actually aspiring to go to almost 350 backward districts, translating into covering about 3,000 blocks and covering about 100,000 panchayats in the next about 3 to 5 years. Every democracy needs to have a great digital integration, to have great use of information empowerment to their citizen to contribute to democracy.
The fabulous story of Digital Empowerment Foundation and Osama Manzar, from social entrepreneurship to Suchnapreneurs. We've seen it all this evening. Next up, India's rural citizens are as aspirational and entrepreneurial as their urban counterparts, but find themselves wanting access. Seeing this, Ajayata Shah set up Frontier Markets, a social commerce platform which is bringing products and services to the doorsteps of rural households. It is doing so by enabling 20 million rural women and turning them into entrepreneurs who act as a bridge to rural communities. Here's the story of Frontier Markets.
I started Frontier Markets about 11 years ago. I was working in the microfinance sector right after college for about 7 years in all different parts of India. 5 states, 5,000 villages, 1,000 slums, looking at trying to solve the problem of how do we better create financial services for rural women. In that time, I realized that financial services is important, but actually to really alleviate poverty, to truly help families climb that economic ladder, you need access to everything. Rural customers, given that where they live, they don't have access to doorstep delivery. They don't have access to technology, and they don't necessarily have access to even dukans. Like stores are not available where they live. So the first element of what Frontier Markets wanted to do was build a supply chain. Can we actually build warehouses and have delivery people that would be able to take physical products and deliver to the doorstep for where rural customers live? But the second major issue was that people didn't really know who the rural customer was. And the rural customer didn't actually understand what are the opportunities or products or services that are even out there. So to solve that problem, we actually then invested in a network of rural women entrepreneurs who we call our Saral Jeevan Sahelis. How do I get to understand who the rural customer is? I use our network of women entrepreneurs who are helping me understand who they are by collecting information on these rural households, building out an understanding of who they are, what they need, what their challenges are. The third thing that we did was then, of course, put all of this on a technology platform, technology that is made for rural people. So our Meri Saheli app that we had designed was a solution as an assisted tool that our rural women are using to help actually navigate this entire process. They're able to showcase products, they're able to collect data, they're able to place orders, they're able to educate families, they're also able to help facilitate the entire supply chain. Today, we offer a slew of different services. So you can be needing agri services, so agri inputs, agri appliances. You might be needing agri advice. How do I do a better job planting seeds? So on the platform, in partnership with various different agri players, we actually showcase their solutions on that platform so they can avail an end-to-end solution for agri. We do this also for consumer electronics. We do this for appliances, for kitchen tools. We've partnered with over 46 different brands to actually bring in even washing machines, right, into the platform to be able to help the rural customer buy a solution. We help in digital payments. We want to make sure that rural customers can pay their bills on time, and so literally doorstep, you're able to make payments online through the platform. We also help them get access to clean energy solutions. In response to COVID, we realized that there was a massive gap in terms of women getting access to the right healthcare facilities. So again, in partnership with companies like Dava Dost and others, we've actually brought in those solutions onto the platform. And then finally, thanks to our women entrepreneurs, we're constantly being told what else to bring. So we've launched an entire network of cosmetics. We've also even brought in FMCG solutions. We've been able to launch a subscription model for sanitary napkins, get diapers, baby formula into the platform. The idea for us was, on a commerce perspective, try to bring in everything and anything a rural family could need. Finally, we also added financial services because we realized that very quickly that people need insurance, they need consumer finance loans, they need savings products. So all of this available on the platform. We have 2 government partnerships, one in Rajasthan and one in UP, which both are actually centered around scale. It's about leveraging their self-help group infrastructure, which is going deep to almost 100 million people, and trying to help those women now either get jobs by becoming Sahelis or helping the women that are making products get an opportunity to have a marketplace. So we have been able to now onboard over 25,000 products that were made by rural women onto the platform called a Hamari Dukaan, which basically enables these rural women SAGs to showcase their local products across our network. We operate in 4,400 villages. We are in 2 states. So we're in Rajasthan and we're in UP. We have a network of over 1 million families today. We have over 20,000 women entrepreneurs that are actually being able to help facilitate this entire linkage in this process. Now, how do these women earn money? So they tend to have about 50 to 100 households that they take responsibility for. So imagine all the services that they end up facilitating, they end up earning a commission. Today, on average, our women that start working with us, let's say from day 1, are already earning at least 1,000 to 1,500 rupees in that first month. By the 3rd month, they're earning 3,000 rupees. By the 9th month, they're earning 5,000 rupees. And there's been a consistency of 5,000 rupees minimalistically on average. Some of our Sahelis who are older Sahelis are earning up to 10,000 rupees a month. At the average level of income that women are earning in any of these initiatives, it's actually 4 to 5 times higher. So last year, for example, we did a total business of 245 crores of commerce on our platform. So we had a net revenue of 40 crores, and we were profitable by over a crore as a business. And we are now planning our next growth capital, which is a much larger raise. It's $15 million. The purpose of that capital is essentially 3 things. One is exponential growth. I mean, we really think it's high time to now take our tech-first approach. We have literally 5 states waiting for us to enter in India, right? We know we can. And so to fund that initial 6 months of growth is where that capital comes in, but also to further invest in our technology. This year, we are actually scaling from 20,000 women entrepreneurs to 100,000 women entrepreneurs, from 1 million customers to 10 million customers, from 245 crores to 900 crores. So it's really about growth. And I think that that just keeps evolving as we innovate and as we grow.
Applause for Frontier Markets and Ajayita Shah. From Sahelis to entrepreneurs making it all happen. Our next finalist this evening. Only 4 of 10 Indians are able to apply for a government scheme, that's according to the World Bank, with the mission to plug the information and access gap between citizens and government schemes. Aniket Dogar established Haq Darshak. Through its tech-enabled interventions and field card of rural entrepreneurs, Haq Darshak has guided over 20 lakh families and 50,000 MSMEs exercise their right to welfare schemes. Here's the story of Haq Darshak.
India has over 13,000 government schemes, and these schemes are basically meant for about 850 million Indians and about 60 million micro businesses. Majority of these businesses and citizens are not aware of what are these schemes. Even if they know about the schemes, they are not aware what are they eligible for. And that is the constant motivation for me to always think that why am I doing what I'm doing? You're basically getting them something which is their right, which is their haq. And the basic premise of the whole solution is this AI-based platform. So we have a repository, a library of 7,500 schemes translated in 12 local languages plus Hindi and English. Then we have this AI engine where you put in the information. From this dictionary, it picks up what are the exact schemes you're eligible for, and in an instant you can know what is your eligibility. After the first year and a half of running Haq Darshak, we also realized that just information, just platform is not enough. What we really need to do is ensure this information reaches the doorstep of the citizen. And once they know of the government scheme, they were coming back to us and asking, how can I apply for it? You've given me this information that I'm eligible for a pension scheme or insurance scheme or this agri-fertilizer scheme, but what do? We realized that we can train these women entrepreneurs. In the community, there are these women who are members of self-help groups, who are teachers, who are Anganwadi workers, who are housewives. They are first-time digital users. So one of our first trainings that we give to them is how to use a smartphone, how to use the app, how to navigate through the system, how to use UPI. Moving to the next part, we also realize that this segment that we are talking about, these 850 million, are not necessarily people who can pay a full fee for the service. I, as a tribal farmer or a construction worker or auto rickshaw driver may not be able to pay you. So who in the ecosystem can sponsor this? Who can pay for them? And that's when we reached out to employers. And today actively we are working with 75 plus clients. So including the likes of gig economy partners like Uber, Zomato, Urban Company. Today we've reached over 2.2 million families and close to 50,000 micro businesses. In the process, we have helped disburse close to 5,000 crores worth of benefits through a network of over 25,000 women entrepreneurs. As a process, our women entrepreneurs have also earned close to 15 crores cumulative income. And they are on an average earning 4,500 to 5,000 rupees per month. This is the core strength of Akdarshak, our ability to train networks, and we have done this across 26 states. So we can today set up any district, any community, any operations within 4 weeks. And we have worked across 380 districts in the country and over 5,500 villages. And I think COVID is being the biggest innovation officer in every organization, and so has been the case with Akdarshak. We already were a hybrid model where we were doing online platform and this on-ground women entrepreneur agent-led model. But I think we were pushed to think more online. So we set up our Play Store app in 2020 April so that citizens across the country could know about scheme information. During that year, there were multiple government schemes that were launched for relief. The second thing we did in second half of 2020 was that we launched our MSME platform. There are 60 million micro businesses in the country. These are your street vendors, fruit seller, pan and cigarette shop, your small mom and pop shops. How do they know about which government loan to apply? How do they get insurance? How do they get basic certification? The third big pivot that we made in 2021, as things started opening up, from our communities, from our entrepreneurs, they said that they wanted a local, block level, community level office. We established what we call Yojana Kendras in Jan 2021. These are one-stop physical centers for anything related to schemes. We started with one Kendra in Jan 2021, and today we've established close to 15. By March 2023, we are looking to expand this number to 100. 90% are going to be in aspirational districts in rural areas, and 10% in low-income slums in urban areas. This number of 100, we aim to scale it to 1,000 centers by 2025, with a network of 10,000 active women agents. The fourth thing and the final that really we innovated on during COVID was what we call the Yojana card, India's first QR code-based card. So this will be, imagine a card in the hands of a farmer or a construction worker where they can tap that QR code on their smartphones. If they don't have a smartphone, on the Akdarshak agent smartphone, they will know what are the schemes they are eligible for, what is the level of tracking, what are the documents I need, and they can also pay and receive payment through that card. We aim by end of this financial year to disburse 100,000 Yojana cards. We aim to reach 10 million families year on year by 2025, and that will result in a disbursement of $1 billion every year for government schemes. That's really the path and goal that we have for the next 2 years, and we could actually expand on our goals from 10 million to 100 million in the next 2 years if we can be joined by the top 1,000 companies listed in this country. And they say that we want every worker, not only who's employed in the companies, but in their entire supply chain. For a sugarcane manufacturing company, can we think of how do you help the sugarcane farmers? For a cotton manufacturing or big labels, can we think of how do you support cotton farmers? All of them need better social security. I mean, we have to build solutions to service them, and Akdarshak is essentially doing that. Our own vision is in 2 to 3 years, can we be one of the first companies to list on the social stock exchange? Can we set that example, can we set that bar where Akdarshak, which is a private limited company but is focused on impact, can we raise money from the public to ensure that social security reaches to more and more people?
Gentlemen, a big round of applause for Aniket and Akdarshak, and we look forward to seeing you list on the social stock exchange, Aniket. On to our next finalist this evening. For nearly 2 decades, Wilma Rodriguez has been on a mission to ensure that no waste goes to waste. Wilma's Sahas, which offers end-to-end waste management solutions, is collecting over 100 tons of waste every day and converting the society's refuse into resource through recycling. Besides keeping the circular economy going, Sahas is empowering informal waste collectors, helping them become micro-entrepreneurs and lead a life of dignity. Here's the story of Sahas Zero Waste.
You know, I used to be a tour guide, working a lot with German tourists, taking them through India, enjoying the beauty of India, its culture, its landscape, but always marred by, you know, the waste that one saw and the indifference around waste. And I remember the occasion when, you know, the German tourist especially kept on asking me about, you know, how we in India were looking at waste and wanting to change the situation on the ground. And this was for me then a trigger, and also the second trigger was the fact that in 2000 we had the municipal solid waste management rules, where for the first time India had a set of rules that actually addressed waste, looked at waste differently. So that was for me the starting point, and then that journey of, you know, starting Sahas as an NGO in 2001 and then moving it, or rather looking at a second entity for the organization as Sahas Zero Waste, a private limited and a social enterprise. Conversion of waste to resources is our solution. Our first vertical is called the Zero Waste Program, and for that we work with all bulk generators. We work in cities especially with the large corporate offices, with tech parks, with residences, with educational institutions. Bulk waste generators contribute 40% to a city's waste. So that's a huge number, and that's our customer base. So what do we offer to bulk waste generators? In a corporate tech park, first of all, we definitely ensure that segregation at source becomes part of the culture. And now once we receive the segregated waste, we look at the next level of how this waste is going to be processed. So many of our bulk waste generators have, for instance, their own waste management center embedded in the office campus or the tech park campus. And then all the wet waste goes into a composting system. The dry waste goes into a preliminary sorting exercise, and then all the waste, the dry waste, then comes to our material recovery facility for further sorting into different categories. And here in the material recovery facility, we would sort it into about 30 different categories. And each of these categories now gets aggregated, and we have MOUs and contracts with all our different recyclers. So currently we are on an average of a little over 100 tons of waste per day. For our zero waste program, we are pretty much working in the south of India with customers on the ground through a service fee. We are definitely looking to move pan-India with our zero waste program. The second vertical that we have is called EPR, or Extended Producer Responsibility, where today under regulation, brands that produce electronic items as well as plastic packaging waste are expected to take back their waste from consumers and channel it into proper recycling. So we then work with various brands to enable that reverse logistics system. We work with a digital platform where the waste is tracked right from the point of source of waste to the end destination. So currently for the EPR program, we are working in 20 different states across India. And then the final vertical is closing the loop, or circle up as we call our third vertical, because this is our sale of products. Sale of products which we get from our own recyclers, sale of products which are upcycled from textiles, sale of compost. All of that is then sold back to our customers. All our customers, they have been able to come to a point where they're accountable for 96% of the waste that they generate. In that process also, you have people working with waste, our own employees, and we have 300 plus employees of which 65% are women, 200 plus people are from the base of the pyramid. Their economic well-being taken care of through this system that we have established. And then of course the large informal sector. Here we are transitioning 4 million plus people that have been engaged in waste in the most horrific ways possible, to formal systems, to entrepreneurship, to people taking responsibility for their waste. People have to now pay for waste management services and not expect to receive monies for things like plastic waste or even paper waste, because the intensity of operations is such that if you want the people working with waste, the livelihood of the informal sector as well as our own field staff, then really there is a need for people to pay appropriately for waste management services. These are not fees which are unaffordable, but these are fees which make a big difference to the way in which we bring accountability to waste management.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Saha Zero Waste and Wilma Rodriguez. And finally, India is home to over 70 million people with disabilities, discriminated, deprived, disadvantaged. Most of them struggle to find a job. Meera Shenoy, through her organization Youth for Jobs, has made it her job to find ability in disability. Youth for Jobs is skilling, training and equipping rural youth with disabilities to become industry ready. Impacting over 9 million rural homes, Youth for Jobs is changing the mindset from can't do to can do.
I wanted to work with the most vulnerable segment of the population. And if you look at youth with disabilities, the education levels are incredibly low, and therefore only 30% of them are employed, and most of them in the unorganized sector with very, very low salaries. If you look at women with disabilities, the statistics are even worse. The ILO says that because the youth with disabilities are not employed, it's a loss of 5% to 7% of our GDP. So my vision when I set up Youth for Jobs was to ensure that all persons with disabilities have equal access to education and employment. When we set up our first batch, we were waiting for youth with disabilities to enroll, but found that there were very few enrolling. And then when we went to the villages, we saw parents think that their child with disability is useless, especially the girls, they keep them hidden. So we realized there was a big challenge there, and we started a very, very scaled up Village Connect program. To reach the villages, we have large number of grassroots workers whose job is to go from village to village and to tell them that actually there is ability in disability. As our alumni go back to their villages and they begin working, and when they get down from the bus in their uniforms and their salaries are sometimes 200% higher than their parents, this is a beautiful proof that any person with disability can actually work. We also work with the governments and various NGOs to reach out to the village households. And currently in our grassroots model, what we are doing is to make this sensitization attractive to the villagers. We are first giving them a small module of digital literacy. In the companies, we do a whole series of work from telling them where the jobs are, which is called a job role matrix, accessibility audits, helping them to make the infrastructure and the workplace friendly to youth with disabilities who are hired. Today, I'm happy to say that our Village Connect program has reached 9.2 million households, and we work with about 1,100 companies. As we started working with a lot of companies started asking us for educated manpower. So then we started the College Connect program. As we started working with the educated youth in the colleges, we realized that the colleges did not understand about disability. So we set up our smart inclusion centers, which work with the educators to sensitize them, to teach them sign language. Technology is extremely important for us also in the future, and there our largest investment is on Swaraj Ability. This is an AI-triggered, accessible job platform for youth with disabilities. In the last 10 years, we've trained about 32,000 youth with disabilities and put them into quality jobs. You have to multiply that figure by 5, about 150,000, because typically in homes, a youth with disability is a drain on the family, and suddenly, instead of being a drain, what happens is that he becomes an asset, most often the highest earning member, and contributing actively to the family incomes. These youth now are becoming our grassroots leaders, and they have a very active urge to give back. We've started our grassroots model, where it's a very, very unique kind of program which is of the disabled by the disabled. So I think that the next 3 years, there'll be a huge expansion and scale in terms of our numbers, and that will come from 3 areas. One is our emphasis on technology. The second is our grassroots model. And the last but not the least is that I'm bringing the world's most prestigious conference to India, which is called the Zero Conference. When we walk in a forest, when we go in a garden, everything is not the same. Some trees have dried leaves, some have red leaves, some have green leaves, and we say, wow, so beautiful. But when it comes to human beings and their differences, if one doesn't have a hand, if one can't speak, or if someone is an acid victim, you say, oh God, you don't say so beautiful. Okay, so the lesson is that learn from nature.
Youth for Jobs and Meera Shenoy, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, it is time for us to congratulate each of our finalists today: Ajayita Shah of Frontier Markets, Aniket Diogar of Haq Darshak, Wilma Rodriguez of Saha Zero Waste, Meera Shenoy of Youth for Jobs, and Osama Manzar of Digital Empowerment Foundation. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for them. If you remember at the start of the program, I said I always walk away from this room feeling a little better. Now probably you understand why I said exactly that. But it is time for me now to invite our Minister to please do the honors. Mr. Thakur, may I please request you to join us here on stage to facilitate and felicitate our finalists. We'll start this evening with Osama Manzar of Digital Empowerment Foundation. Osama, can we have you up on stage, please? Congratulations, Osama. Can we now have Ajayita Shah of Frontier Markets join us on stage, please? Next up, Aniket Diogar of Haq Darshak. Next up, Wilma Rodriguez of Sahas Zero Waste. Yes, please.
So thank you for this. Really appreciate it, and I'm really hoping that there is definitely more attention on waste as all of us generate waste. Special mention to special people. Our team here come from Bangalore, both from NGO Sahas as well as the private limited. It's a really I appreciate. Thanks Shobha, Archana, Gopal, Arun, and Chailapati for being here with us. Thank you so much.
And finally, Meera Shinoy, Youth for Jobs. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's the moment we've all been waiting for. It hasn't been an easy task for the jury to whittle it down to the winner this evening, but as you've seen, each one of them doing wonderful work. So let me hand this over to Hilde Schwab, the co-founder and chairperson of the Schwab Foundation for Social Entrepreneurship. Hilde, it's over to you.
Thank you. So the moment has arrived. The winner is Anike Dr. Akasha. Congratulations.
Congratulations to Aniket Diogar and the team at Hak Darshak on to a possible listing on the Social Stock Exchange. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for the 13th Social Entrepreneur of the Year 2022. Aniket, the floor is yours.
This is a little like nervous plus excited. Thank you to the Jubilant Bharatiya Foundation, to Anurag sir and everyone present here, and to all the finalists. Congratulations. It's just being nominated here and being in the finals was a huge honor for a young team at Hak Darshak. I want to thank all the team members, all our Hak Darshaks, and some of the people who've believed in our idea from the beginning, all our partners. And I think this is truly a great push for us as a young organization towards our vision, and I think this will go a long way in building that. I think I also want to kind of really mention and thank all our Hak Darshaks on the ground, because I think without them nothing of this would have been possible. So thank you once again, and thank you everyone for this. Thank you.
Congratulations again, Aniket. Minister, may I request you please to say a few words.
Respected Shri Shyam Bhartiya ji, respected Hari Bhartiya ji, Shri Ajay Khanna ji, Shobna ji, Kavita ji, Shrin Bhan ji, Ajay Khanna ji, winners, ladies and gentlemen, Namaskar. A very good evening to one and all. Entrepreneurs build a company, but social entrepreneurs build a nation. I am delighted to be here at the 13th Social Entrepreneur of the Year Award ceremony, a platform that provokes insightful conversations, sparks innovation solutions to some of the most pressing problems facing humanity, and recognizes extraordinary and pragmatic leaders.